I'm an Italian representative. I work for a few companies, SICIS, which is the company we're focusing mainly today. I'm going to show you a video from SICIS so you get a better understanding. Technogym was present. They had a booth with people training, doing on the yoga. This was the stand of SICIS. So you have the entrance. This one, the entrance was also, it's featured in a Karl Lagerfeld hotel in Macau. SICIS has a lot of prestigious, like in Las Vegas. In America, we did a lot of projects. In Canada, we have references all around the world in many different countries. What you will see here, it's not only like the mosaic that the company is making today, but is integrating the design from A to Z, including like furnitures. So there's a home collection from the company that takes from the specialties that the company was able to create throughout like its history. I'm gonna try and focus and explain also mosaics, because a lot of people have the wrong understanding of mosaic. Mosaic, it's an art of combining like small pieces of marble, glass, of sometimes different materials with a small shape. It could be round, it could be square. But where this company is located is Ravenna in Italy, where there's 8 UNESCO Patrimony sites attaining to like the mosaics from the Byzantine Roman Empire, when it was, capital was in Constantinople, in Istanbul. And, it was a decay of the Roman Empire, but Italy still had an important like place for history, for like, there's a port in Ravenna. So there's very prestigious, like and interesting mosaics from a tomb, like, the main church in Ravenna. Now I have you put it on, I didn't have it before, it's okay. So, but there's multiple different ways to create mosaics. And SICIS, the way they were able to, they brought the art back, not with simplicity, but with high quality material, using like prime minerals. So prioritizing the effect of transparency, light, and also variation. So in this booth, I will explain it like later, there's basically 4 different main motives that are like behind the scenes. And the very first one that we've seen, it's a soft decor. So where we had basically, this is an area for bathrooms, you see the table, there's a lot of glass, there's a lot of inserts of mosaics, there's use of like crystals from Murano. And what is precious from this company, even the fabrics, because we have a collection of fabrics, rugs. There's always like recalling to the roots of mosaic. Some things are very peculiar and could be strong, like design-wise. But again, it's positioning in the luxury segment of not only surfaces, also like today, furnishing, lighting, and the new collection is Fox Mosaic, which is basically wallpaper, vinyl or viscose. So it's a big line that can be used to design like in multiple ways. So something that I probably, since I was talking about mosaics, it is like, again, the company foundation, 1987 is when it was founded. It's about, 40 years of history. But I was mentioning before, like raw materials, the minerals, the mosaic, like why is there a lot of variation? Over here in these inserts, you see like gold and platinum, which of course it's a golden leaf and the platinum leaf with white gold. The variation is different, like we have different sizes. This is all hand clipped. This is completely artistic. But the standard of the company is 5/8, because 5/8 has an historic reason. The way they're manufactured, it's still using the Venetian, old the Murano technique. Our master mosaic maker is from Murano, the little island where they blow glass. We do a lot of shapes. This is just a panel showing one of the use of the pink colors, like these soft tones that are also popular now. We can make textures, so ondulation. And the way this glass refracts light is different than I was in San Diego. I live close to San Diego. At the airport, you can tell when there was a big budget issue. So there's a feature wall that is cheap, and you can tell when there's a feature wall that has value. So this company provides value, not to say nothing else is allowed, but looking at glass and mosaic, there's technical reasons. A lot of the glass we see in the market is opaque, so there's no variation. Like these are comparison, but then again, when you have your color palette goes to 500-600 different options, it becomes richer and you can play with the colors, even with simple, again, this is a feature wall, it's all artistic, hand clipped, but there's different techniques. These are boards that I have with me. Again, here we showcase more than 400 colors. So you can go, we have catalogs, Colorpedia, where you can pick colors and find inspiration ideas also to help you with your designs or to give you like an idea to develop. We have textures, so there's three-dimensional options like struttura, it's called. We make struttura, we use different size tessera and also different thickness tessera combined together. We have shapes, clover on the right, on the left we have crystal, so tephra, which is this collection over here. There's some pieces, I think, in one of the boards. This one is a texture mosaic that was resembling in a sauna, imagining the drips, the drops of water. So creating that texture, which people sometimes appreciate, and also has a massaging because it is texture, like at touch. So multiple. Can I go back now? Oh yes, I'm good. So multiple sizes, multiple finishes. Aventurine, a lot of people I didn't know before I joined SICIS back in 2010 is with melted copper. It's a fusion. Mosaic is like a melting pot where you combine different ingredients and then you pour them in a sort of like a mold that has different sections. And then there's a thermal treatment that makes the glass, heat up and go down. It's cool. And there is also like a thermal, it's like metal. Here we're close to the automotive industry. They do that in metal, the tempering phase. It's the same with mosaic. We have metal or gold or platinum, like in this case, we call Colibri, this collection. Broken edges, transparent mosaic, metallic, brilliant. So there's a petite fleur. These are actually little flowers. It's an extended collection. There's a lot of different options. Clover, this is inspired by the Seminato Veneziano, which is like a terrazzo, sort of. So the shapes are like irregular. Or diamond. Actually, we did a few projects with Cercan, with the diamond collection, with the Salice gold, with some like designs. If you guys are able to drop by the showroom, you can see. So again, there's no limits. Now, I was mentioning before the reflection of light or the reflectancy, the standards also to meet for LEED qualifications. So you can get all of that. Photocatalysis is the property that certain glass with titanium dioxide, the iridescent glass. We lived in a world of like a lot of copies for like, oh, I can buy that for less. Titanium dioxide, when it's in the material, it doesn't fade, it doesn't go away, which means that it's like silver has properties that eliminate bacteria with the action of light and water, when you wash it. So it is also, the hygiene is higher. Of course, mosaic has more grout lines, but And then biophilia, we had studies related to, the benefit, the love of life and the living systems, because there's an action to our clients, ourselves, and our clients' mental sanity that is given by the beauty that surrounds them. So if you go back home in a place where your body doesn't distress, life is not good. So it allows you also to create spaces that have a benefit. Then there's, technicalities, the mosaic can be paper faced. We have collections, usually transparent collection are paper faced. And those, unfortunately we had people installing the paper in the back and they call me, they say, Maurizio, your mosaic is defective. No, the installer is defective. So, because the paper goes in the front and it gets peeled out after. So we all deal with, you guys have a tough job, and I know. Then we also have a fiber mesh. On artistic mosaic, we have a special fiber mesh backing. It's like a filtered paper, it's called, and it's like a fabric that we can use for installation, and it's very resistant. So we did a lot of tests. This is an interesting image that shows like hand clipping of mosaic. Sometimes you need to finish, you need to cut. So mosaic, you can use a tile cutter to cut it, or you use pliers, or even the grinders are good for that. So the tools are pretty common. Having a mosaic that doesn't tear off, it's important. So the quality also stays there. Sometimes, mosaics comes out and it's not it could be the siding materials, but it's also like the backing material that is a cause. Oh no. So that's an example, extreme. Mosaic can go outdoor. These are examples. Actually, the tower on the right it's a silos in Nebraska. So it's kind of a Midwest. We're not too far away, and they wanted to have a cityscape with a special mosaic. But then we can do swimming pools. We can do very many different things. And I'm just going fast because otherwise there's too much. Now, I can show you a little video, so we take a mini break, and again, if you guys have questions, this one shows a little bit where the factory is located in Italy, where Ravenna is 2 hours south of Venice. It's a whole like industrial area that is 80,000 square meters, so about a million square feet of industrial space where we manufacture the glass. We manufacture also glass tiles and glass panels, which is a different production. I'm talking about glass, but we combine glass with marble also. So there's not only, like, if your client is using marble, you will see this is a mosaic of gold, and it's kind of like how it's presenting, like, But the tessera on their own, they present like that. Then they get meshed, depending on the use, or they get used by the artist, depending on the application that has to be developed. But you see how much variation is within the same color range. It's not like a flat, and that's why sometimes, we're working, we have, some of our clients are very demanding, and they don't understand the industrial process. Like, samples are very expensive, but sometimes even with the rendering, it's hard to show this. It's not possible for them. And the artist will always pick from a basket tessera that he thinks are the most suitable to create a certain movement of color. So, and when you see, this is actually was presented in Dubai in 2020 for the Expo 2020, representing Italy. So they created a mural of gold representing like the booth of Italy. I have all these projects. There's a section, if you guys are interested in, we can share like, the project references. I save them on my iPad because, especially the ones I like. But, again, sometimes we have to draw by hand, like a specific image, because it doesn't exist. So to put it on a rendering, sometimes it's not possible until it's made. And but we can show what the company is able to achieve with its technical department, and with the material that has at hand. Please. Where was that? I'm sorry.
Just recently, in the last month, 2 months, there was something on like PBS or something.
Oh.
They're doing some modeling of one of the churches, one of the old churches.
Yeah. In Italy was this one or in America? This is the St. George Basilica in. But this one is in Malta. It's a Byzantine chapel of the Holy Crucifix. What this company does incredibly is to be able to feature like spaces. That one looks like a painting, but it's a gold mosaic with it's the Last Supper, it looks like. But even on the floor over here, this one is a collection. It's marble, it's water jet, but it's also like hand cut and hand clipped. It's called Cosmati. Cosmati was a Roman family of the 1500s. They were making all these curved, connected. So there's a lot of history and tradition and culture, of course. The art of mosaic dates back 3,000, I think 3,000 years before Christ, in the area of Persia, let's say. So that is where the mosaic started as a cultural element, of churches and also for residential, in Ravenna, I was saying before, there's very well preserved mosaics. That's later in history of mosaic because there was never an interruption. But that one is from the 5th and the 6th century after Christ. So 600 and 700, and they're perfectly preserved. They found they were excavating to make a garage, and they found it's called Domus dei Tappeti di Pietra, which is a villa that was fully floors, and it's perfectly preserved. So if you visit, it's a very nice, a small city. You can stay 2 or 3 days, and you can visit the factory. So actually, Luigi, if you make a good project, he's gonna bring you. Cercan likes to do that, so he doesn't like me to say, but and when he does, usually I go too, because I love piadine, which are that flat bread, and I like to bring people to eat piadina, and I want to show them the factory. You got it. But so you see how you can change completely an environment. This was an old church. They wanted to revive it, and they combine Cosmati, which is the one on the right, with artistic mosaic. If you go to Santa Apollinare Nuova, which is another church from the Byzantine time in Ravenna, you see a lot of those murals with gold backing. Of course, the material in the past was different. What this company was able to recreate is, first of all, expand the number of colors with the technology, because the minerals back in the days, the technology was not the one we have today, and still respecting the environment, because it's one of in the company's goals and direction is also to remain as less impactful as possible. So this one is an example of a church, but if you want to see the Cosmati is a rug. So these rugs sometimes, you see the size of this one is about 100 inches square. We can scale it down, but it can be scaling 30 inches by 30 inches to obtain the same details. Even when we're doing an artistic face, we can compress it and do it. Otherwise, we can make it even in a space like this, but it's micro mosaic. So sometimes you can buy a piece of mosaic that I can hold it in my hands and it's $40,000 because it takes weeks to be completed. It's all so it requires also special materials. I'm saying this because among the products that SICIS produces, I'll show you after with another project. So you see, this is also how we presented the material. Marmo collection, it's marble that has been, it's glass actually, Murano collection. It's been made thicker because it had to go with marble. So not every color can be done that way, but if there's a meaningful necessity, like it can be done. And sometimes, this is an example how it was installed. Because the company it started with projects, and that's how it became like also a provider of solutions for architectural solutions sometimes. So this was before, before the installation. The installation, this is done at the factory. So the installation of the marble pieces, so there's a component that is water jet and there's a component that is like handmade and installed. You see the backing, or in this case is like a mesh. This makes the installation incredibly simple because 100 by 100 inches, we cannot fit it in a crate, but we can cut it in portions, number. So the installer, they have to just put them together. In Las Vegas, there's sometimes, because our eye is used to like perfection or good installations, sometimes we see where the installer wasn't able to put the seams close enough. So you have, there's a tapas bar in Vegas, I can't remember, I think it's at the Cosmopolitan, at the Cosmo. You see the big pieces that are like 5 by 5 feet or 4 by 4, and you see that seam white, and I'm like, oh man. So we could install the material, but we don't. It's relatively simple. When we are able to find good installers, for them, it's kind of like good money to install a SICIS product, respectfully speaking, because their job is tough too. So yeah, these are the pieces. This is showing you when they bake these like 12 by 12s. So it's very still very manual of the smalto to make it thicker, and then they cut it in they water jet it into pieces, to create the stars. So this project, resource that we have, it's also on our website, and again, I can help if you see how it changed the church. It looks like a church from many years ago, and everyone is happy. They put the flags out. Before it was much, there was sadness around that area. I want to show you one other thing. That is Vetrite, because that way you understand a little bit more about this product. This product is also glass, but it's an innovation. It's decorative glass, but we were able to bring high level of decorations to larger panels that are 47 by 110 inches and even bigger. We can go to 53 by 116. Creating also possibility to decorate exterior, doing balconies, doing facade applications, or you see their roofing. The material is light. Before we set it up, this is about 30 pounds, 3 pounds a square foot. So a panel like this, it's probably about 50 kilos. There's also the honeycomb in the back. But so Vetrite is a sandwiched, there's 2 glass panels with an interlayer that can be metal, fabric, or a polymer, a precious polymer, with resistance to also wearing in specific light conditions or exterior conditions. So if you have a project, you want to put these glass panels in a pool, let us know, because we have to provide the product in a different way. So there's really a lot of, and here these are all applications that you see that are residential. They could be used for a counter, they can be used for a shower, they can be used for feature walls. Glass can be backlit. So a lot of the project we're working on, we need to know, because the interlayer, I mentioned the polymer that we use could be transparent, or we can also customize it when needed. But we have a lot of standards that offer like a huge amount of like selection. So here you see a metallic application on the outdoor of their building. This is a Mario Piva design. He's a designer from Milan, and it's a collection he designed with repetitive motifs. A balustrade. So it's glass. So if you use glass in Michigan outside for windows or other places, you can use this one. So the weather is not a problem. If you put it on the floor, maybe we should know, because the glass, for example, in order to process cutting of these panels, they can be like tempered, because after you temper material, it can't be touched anymore. So we can do a tempered glass cut to the size you need, but some of these are tempered also for like it is considered safety glass, because the interlayer in between, in case of shattering, if you damage it, it doesn't crash, it stays together. It's like when you throw a stone on the window of your car. Basically, it's the same. It's also a safety glass, the one we use for the car industry. On the sides, it's not. In fact, if somebody throws a rock to take something from your car, it shatters. So yeah, this one can be used for outdoors and makes sometimes, creating like a scenic and an added value. Again, there's no limits, but I wanted to. There's no limits to creativity of these products, and it could be used in simple ways like a tile, because we have a collection with tile formats which are very simple to install. But then they can go. They're workable. They can be cut. There's manuals explaining like how it can be used. A tile contractor, sometimes there's amazing tile contractors, but a glass cutting company knows better how to process like glass cutting most of the time, because they use the proper tools and they're more efficient. So you see elevators. So thank you guys for attending. I appreciate it. So I don't want to take too much of your time, because I don't even know the time when I speak. I lose it. Again, applications are like limitless. One thing that I was trying to show today, this is actually an actual project, because you guys sometimes work with developers. This is the Apjeong district in Seoul. There's nobody that looks like from Seoul here today. Otherwise, my pronunciation is probably like the most inappropriate. But why we have the combination of using SICIS and developing with DH, Premium Product Elite Audience. DH is a big high-end developer. It's because, again, SICIS is able to integrate solutions combining multiple elements, and sometimes simplifying the sourcing, the procurement, which has a cost many times, and is able to feature, customize. See, you asked me before, these are hotels and resorts in the world. Like, you have the Karl Lagerfeld in Macau, the Mandarin Oriental. I have all these projects. This one was awarded as the best spa in 2025. Again, the name of this company is under construction, the Lamborghini in Dubai, or the Four Seasons in Dubai, Four Seasons in London, where you see this pool with marble slabs with glass decorative inserts, similar to this. It can be done with Vetrite, but we do residential, so plenty of residential references. This one, even showing like what the companies can get to do, in my opinion, is incredible, this project. This is an island off of the Saudis, and I'm going to show you quickly. They created like a complete, the island, the cityscape of the island, if it can make sense. It's like a resort where there's functionality, design, and the preciousness of the material. So this one, the roofs of all this golf, this resort, all the roofs are covered with mosaic gradients. Because sometimes, we think, I'm embarrassed sometimes for my projects because I'm using 30 square feet, 80 square feet. Everything works, what is needed. But here they develop different gradients to cover all the roofs of this village. So when you see the village completed, I'm going to quickly go there, but you see also the work in progress, how the material was provided, like how it was like cut, installed. This is like one of the cabana that was finished on the roof. And when you go basically to the end, there's multiple colors. The roofs, there's also a solar panel like system to basically retain like the heat and create energy to supply like electricity to the. I mean, it's ecological, but it's also like incredibly sophisticated. So you saw a church, but if there's private swimming pools, this is a pool with a gradient inside. What can we do? We can do a lot of like. This is a work in progress because a portion is being installed, but there's a lot of things that are getting developed. A gradient. A lot of times people kind of like they get confused. A gradient is an ensemble of different mixes, blends of colors. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sheets. This is provided in sheets. When you see the ladies that are installing by hands, we make the whole mural. We make an entire, the size of this, room. We finish. We cut pieces. We ship it, and then we do the large pieces. These are sheets, and of course they're numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, and you follow their. And it's easy to follow the design. Okay, guys, Cercan, these guys are very knowledgeable. They're good friends. I forgot also my business cards, I have to be honest. But I'm more than glad if you guys have questions. I usually get them like the same day. Maybe you can share my contact. I know you guys are in this area. You're going to be serviced by them, and I can help you, getting information quickly anytime you need. You're welcome. Thank you, guys. Thank you.